sure.
Yeah, cool. I was lucky enough to get a pre-order copy of your new album, For All Kings, and it really feels like ever since worship music came out, you guys have just been on fire. That was a great album. This album, I'd say, maybe even better. Like, it's just one of the best albums to date. What's happened? Has there been like just a big surge of like inspiration in the last 4 or so years?
It's hard to say. We just do what we do. We made with worship music. We wrote an album, and Joey came back to the band, and we really had zero expectation, and it really just connected with people all over the planet. And then we were just able to go out and be Anthrax again, and not really worry about too much of all that, any other bullshit. Just be a band, and kind of built up a lot of momentum. So going into the writing of what would become For All Kings, just the momentum of the band, the vibe of the band. It's not something I ever really analyze, other than we get in a room and we write songs that we want to bang our heads to, and it's always really been as simple as that. So, but I can say that the band certainly is in a good place at this point in time.
Yeah, sweet as, man. And you got a new guitarist on the album, and some cracking solos on it. But besides just the guitar solos, what influence did John Donis have on the album?
That's it. Solos and overdubs and stuff like that. We would send him arrangements of the songs, and then and he would start working out his parts, because he's very meticulous. He is not just really coming up with shit on the fly and improvising. He writes his solos. So and then he would send stuff back to us, and he was really just nailing the feel and the vibe, and really understanding the music we were writing.
Yeah, cool, man. I've seen you guys the last 2 times you played Soundwave. I saw you with both John Bush and with Joey at the last one. It just felt like They were almost like 2 different bands. Both awesome, but how different is it playing with Joey compared to John?
It's totally different. They're 2 different human beings.
Yeah,
it's completely different.
Yeah, cool, man. We've been talking a lot with all the guests we've had on, our podcast, just about their stories of Lemmy, and you've told a few. I know you were at his memorial and everything, but did we actually hear about the first time you ever met Lemmy, and what happened? How were you introduced to him?
That story's pretty well out there. I mean, it's on my DVD of my talking show, so
yeah,
I feel like I'm just gonna kind of be repeating myself. But yeah, I did. I met him in 1985 in a bar in London on complete accident, obviously, and I tried to keep up with him drinking, and that just did not end well for me at all, where I woke up pretty much a day and a half later in a hotel in Munich, trying to keep a doctor who I thought was a Nazi away from me, just trying to give me a shot so I would feel better. It was one of the best and worst experiences of my life.
Yeah, well, most experiences with Lemmy seem to involve alcohol at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. It's really funny. I love watching, documentaries about rock and metal. I always love to know the story behind the album. And it's funny, I was talking with my friend the other day, and we're like, is it just me, or has Scott Ian been in, every rock and metal documentary ever made? Do you know collectively how many you've been featured in?
No idea.
Yeah. Are you like the go-to guy for those sort of things? Because I feel like you're definitely a music fan as well, and you love talking about bands. Are you on the speed dial?
I don't know. I haven't done one in years. I really don't know.
Okay, no worries, man.
I don't put it this way. I don't keep track. I do something like that. I sit and I talk for 40 minutes, and I never think of it again.
Oh, cool. You've been in the big ones as well, all the Sam Dunn ones, and I think it was the Headbangers Guide to Metal. I was quite young at the time. I was only like 15 when that came out, and that introduced me to all of the bands and had you talking in it. So I'm like, yeah, cool. So it kind of made me go back and have a look at all the thrash, Bay Area bands and stuff like that when I was younger.
I guess I know how to speak
Yeah, of course. Big news at the moment. With these American elections, normally I don't really pay much attention to them over in Australia, but it feels this time around, you've got one guy at, the far right, one guy at the far left. Are you excited or nervous about, what's going to happen in the next year or so?
Not really, because it really doesn't make a difference, truthfully.
Yeah.
I think the problem with this country is it's so divided down the middle at this point that no matter who gets in, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to get done anyway. So I really don't know what it means at this point anymore. I suppose having someone like Donald Trump in office probably wouldn't be a good idea. It seems like 98% of the time I would think it's probably a really bad idea because he seems a bit racist and a bit lunatic and probably not the best guy to be representing America. But the fact of the matter is he is outside the political landscape and he's not taking money from corporations. And, I don't even really know what any of that means because I really don't know. I really don't know. My attitude, I should probably care more, but I think I learned a long time ago to kind of stop worrying so much about things that I have absolutely no control over. And that's not to say my vote doesn't count. And I will go vote once they narrow it down to who the hell is actually running for president. But, I don't think anything's going to change in my life. It's not like someone's going to get in the office and ban heavy metal. That's not going to happen. So outside of that, I guess I don't know, if Donald Trump became president, could he really ban Muslims from coming into America? Somehow I don't think he'd get that law passed. So, I don't know. I don't know. There's so much fucking bullshit rhetoric out there and insanity. I really don't know what to think about it. I guess if Trump wins, America will get what it deserves. That's, I guess, the best thing I could say about the whole thing. If America decides he should represent us for 4 years to the world, then America will get what they get from that.
Yeah. I know you said the other day, just on a different note, with that whole Phil Anselmo thing, and you said, if he should put his money where his mouth is and donate to a charity as well. And, I feel a bit conflicted with the whole thing. I think what he did was wrong, but on the other hand, I'm seeing all these, festival dates being cancelled, and, I don't think I want to see the end of Phil Anselmo, this being it, How do you feel about it? Do you think he should be forgiven, or do you have a...
Yeah, if he proves that he deserves to be, just asking to be forgiven doesn't mean you should be forgiven. And I've had a running dialogue with Phil since this happened. It's not like I just posted something online without actually speaking to my friend. I've been having a dialogue back and forth with him, and because if I didn't care, I wouldn't have contacted him at all. But I care. Phil I've known the dude almost 30 years. He's like a brother. He's family. And when someone in your family has a problem, you discuss it and you try and find a solution. And, my attitude towards the whole thing is, to me, silence is complicity. If you don't say something about something like this, then you're condoning it. And I can't condone that in any way, shape, or form. It's not okay in any world, let alone the metal world, to do these kind of things in any type of context, because words are too powerful, especially Phil Anselmo's words, because there's too many impressionable people out there who listen to every fucking thing that dude says. So, bottom line is he needs to prove that he should be forgiven. And the only thing that will prove that is his actions. And I am, of course, willing to give him the opportunity to prove that. Because, like I said, he's like my brother, so I didn't write him off. I talked to him about it, and I have every hope inside of my heart that he will prove to the world that he's not this person.
Yeah, of course, I agree with you 100%. I don't want to see him go down this way, and I think, he seems like a reasonable guy in every other interview, and I've talked to him once in the past. He, came across as, being very honest dude, so I don't think, he's a bad guy, just made a mistake, and everyone does that kind of thing from time to time. But not on that scale.
Exactly. The fact is, he made his mistake. He made his mistake in front of the world, which you just need to be smarter than that. Bottom line, I mean, words have power, and and that's what people need to understand. Not everybody understands your context. Not everybody sees everything you're going to say about it. Some people will only see what you did and think that's okay. And that's the truth, because in the aftermath of the whole thing, and after I posted what I posted, I couldn't believe some of the ignorance, coming back my way. People, this possibly the stupidest thing that I saw was someone saying to me, "Well, why would you want him to donate money to the Simon Wiesenthal Center? That's a Jewish thing," or sorry to quote, "That's a Jew thing." Yeah. And white power has nothing to do with Jews. I mean, so that just shows you the ignorance out there. Sure. So, people need to be educated. That's the bottom line here. People just really need to fucking learn a little bit. And I hope good will come out of this in some way, shape, or form, because it can't be accepted anywhere. I mean, not just the metal community, but anywhere in the world, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I'll just ask you one more quick question, just because of the big time schedule happening today. Is there any plans on coming to Australia anytime soon? I spoke to the Joey and Charlie, and they said probably not anytime soon, but is it something you think about often?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely on the schedule. We just don't have a time frame yet. But yeah, we will be in Australia on this touring cycle. Absolutely. We've been there every record, I believe. So, of course, we're going to come back. And if anything, more excited to come back because, it looks, for all intents and purposes, it looks like we'll get to come and do a proper headline run, rather than have to come and just do a festival thing and not get to play a full show. So I'm more excited about that because, like you said, our last 2 times down there were for Soundwave. And, we're playing Soundwave. We get to play 45, 50 minutes, and that's frustrating. It's great to be on a big festival and hang out and all that, but it's still frustrating from the band point of view because unless you're headlining the festival, you're really not getting to do your thing. And I'm excited to come back to Australia and play a headline set. And I think the fans, our fans down there, will appreciate that as well.
Yeah, cool lads, man. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some of these new tracks performed live. It's going to be excellent. It'll be, up the front headbanging. Be awesome, man. So
right on, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, good luck with the album and good luck with all your tours coming up this year. And, have a good day, man.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you.
All right, see you, Scott.
Bye.